How many games are going to win this fall?
On to the Minnesota Golden Gophers, where at FanDuel Sportsbook, you can get a over-under win total of 5.5, over -102, under -120. Tom, are we rowing the boat, or is the boat springing leaks? We gave all this credit to Joe Rossi. Now Joe Rossi's gone.
Yeah, we've come upon some rocks and some shallow water. I'm going under. I think that there's already like injuries. We've seen Darius Taylor, who I think was huge for them last season towards the end of the year. He's a little banged up right now, so there's some question marks there. And just besides that, though, like overall, the vibes I've been getting, I'm going to the chip side here, have not been super positive from a lot of what I've heard about Minnesota this fall and even into last spring. And I look at the schedule and it's like North Carolina at home. Yeah, they're wearing that soft ass blue, but I still think that that's a tough way to start your season. It's a big game. They should crush Rhode Island. They should beat a Nevada team I don't have very high hopes for. But like then you get to the Big Ten conference play. And you're starting off with Iowa at Michigan and USC. That's like a tough beginning. You could be sitting there staring 0-3 in the league in the face. And who knows what that does to you mentally as far as the rest of the season. Then you head on the road for the Rose Bowl to play UCLA. And then it's not until late October do you get your first bye. So you've already played 7 games and you could be off to a pretty tough start. It's the second half of the schedule where things ease up a bit, where you get Maryland at Illinois, at Rutgers, Penn State, and then you finish obviously with your rivalry game at Wisconsin. But I don't know what kind of condition this team's going to be in. I don't know what to expect of Max Brosmer, who I will go out on a limb and say I believe he is an upgrade on what they had at quarterback last year. But how much of an upgrade will he be? I don't know. You mentioned Rossi leaving. What happens to this defense without him? Can they maintain that same level? I'm just skeptical. Like, I don't think Minnesota is going to be awful, but I do think they're going to miss a bowl game. So I'm going under.
I'm going over.
Finally, we disagree.
Finally, geez. The way I look at this is it's one of the better offensive lines in the Big Ten, I think. I definitely think they upgraded at quarterback, even though I don't know if Max Brosmer is like that good. I think he's just functional where Calic Manis was not for them last year. I am concerned that Rossi decided to leave this place to go to a clear rebuild with Michigan State. Like that, maybe you should read into that move because it kind of makes sense to do. Defensive lines probably improved. Definitely has some secondary questions for this team. The way I kind of map it out is you get 2 auto wins, Rhode Island and Nevada. Okay. You get 2 basically like we can't really score with these teams, losses most likely with Michigan and Penn State. Then you get like 7 toss-ups, basically, which is every game that is not Wisconsin. And then Wisconsin is one of those you probably lose, but it's certainly not like a lock. You'll be, 6.5, maybe 7 at Wisconsin, I would
and
think.
it's for an X.
Right.
There's
exactly.
an X on the line. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so you figure like 2 autos, you split the 7 tosses, that gets you to 5.5 right there. I am slightly over on this. I think you're kind of crazy if you bet this over, though, for this reason. What are the odds that this team goes over if they do not beat North Carolina in the opener?
Right.
I could just bet Minnesota in the opener, lay 2, either get my money back right now so I can bet it again and turn my bankroll, or lose and know it's gone right there. If they lose to North Carolina, I basically mark it as a loss in my sheet anyway. It's I don't know, unless you're having like so much liquidity that you need to find every single possible place to get down at, I would rather just bet North Carolina. I'd rather bet Minnesota over North Carolina. And conversely, I probably don't want to bet the under either. I'd rather just bet North Carolina to upset them. Like literally, you start the season with the toss-up. That logic's not perfect. They still have 6 other toss-ups. It's not crazy they could go, 4-2 in the other 6 and get it. But for me, I think I'd rather just bet Minnesota week 1 if I feel like they're going to win the game.
And you know where some of those toss-ups are? On the road.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm on the under here. And I've got this one as like maybe even a 4-8 could be in the cards. Again, we'll get to the Bruins tomorrow, but Minnesota going to UCLA, you could tell me UCLA wins that football game. I think if they play, in Minneapolis, then probably not. But you factor in everything involved, that could get really, really tricky. They have to go to Illinois. They have to go to Rutgers. I think North Carolina is going to win that football game. I'm not going to give them a loss, or I'm not going to give them a win. I'm going to consider it a toss-up for the purposes of breaking down all these win totals. But I think that they are going to find themselves where like 7.5 might be a best case scenario. And I am stunned, Bud, that you didn't mention the name Darius Taylor. That's like one of your favorite running backs in the country. This was your opportunity to talk about Minnesota. You're on the over, and we didn't even talk about Darius Taylor.
Why would I talk about Darius Taylor when we have our fantasy draft tonight?
Because you already called him the Alvin Kamara of the Big Ten.
Christ. He is good. Also, Daniel Jackson's been banged up. They're stud receiver, so I'm a little bummed about that.
Yeah. We're checking the
Wait, did
water.
I really call him the Alvin Kamara of the Big Ten?
No, I think Aaron Taylor did.
Yeah,
I was like, Jesus. Okay, yeah.